Hey everyone, Sly47 here. Today I have RedGamingDino joining me for the first of the tier maker months now, I guess, here for tier 10 destroyers here. How are you doing there, Red Gaming?
Not too bad, not too bad. Could be better, could be better.
Nice, perfect. Now we have plenty of ships to go through. If you did miss last week's video for the ranking explains, I will have the link down below. But to do a TLDR version, meta, top tier. These are just the best of the best. Competitive, these are still good, but they're they come in second at times, or they're just pushed out from the meta from just a better ship. Niche, we have ships that play the gambit depending on which type of game you're in, matchmaker dependent, team dependent, player dependent, everything like that. Playable, which are just good ships in general. And then we have need fixing. These are ships that just don't. Yeah. I think there's only like one in there, right, Rad?
Yeah, it'll be pretty obvious which one it is.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. Now, you will see down here below, if you didn't, once again, see last week's video, if you want to see that, these are tricked ships with a very good amount of money or luck or chances of getting camos and leg mods, everything like that in them. So these are to the maxed version of them. This is the difference compared to last year's tier maker. Outside of that, I think that's everything. Are you ready to go, Red?
Let's start.
Let's start. But first, everyone, make sure to go subscribe to RedGamingDino. He does meme videos over on his channel. Amazing creator over there. Anything else to shout out there? Any?
I do commentary now occasionally.
There we go. Nice. There we go. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's just my commentary. I don't know what to say.
Yep. But personally, go give him some love over there. Some great videos, and we need to get him a CC account so that he can try out the Forest Sherman with me when I'm on the Forest Sherman, just to rub it into his face.
Oh no.
But if Red is like anyone else in this one, everyone's just going off, just whatever. They're just rolling with it. Here I am with my 5 pages of notes or 50 pages of tier 10 notes.
Hey, that works for you. That works for you. So
I know, right? There's too many to remember. There's
I played a lot of these DDs, so.
Yep. So up bat, we have the Attilio Regolo base version. Red.
Base Regolo.
I know you love the Regolo, so I'm going to let you start off with these.
It's a great ship.
What's your great ship? But where do you put it?
Regolo, I'm going to start it off. Base Regolo. It's going to go into competitive. It's a very strong DD in the way it works now in tier 10 because it is literally the best DD hunter at tier 10 for destroyers, and is very good baseline. Like baseline Regolo, even if you don't have the historical camo or anything, it's still a very strong ship if you can work with low gun range. So
that low gun range really does kill it. The sap just slaps. It does. The HEs, I find the HE kind of, it works some days.
I mean, look, the guns are off the charts when you start rolling with them. I almost broke the world record with guns alone in Regolo. So like, if you get the chance, the guns are not that bad. But you have to play very, very dangerous ranges with Regolo to get a lot of stuff done.
That is true. Yeah, it does have a very short range. Those torpedoes, though, they just feel good.
They're just so nice.
Well, but now the tricked version. We're talking Paulo, Emilio, camo, everything.
Camo, everything. It's like on the eclipse of meta. It's like just barely. It's like one hand into meta, one hand into competitive. It's like just barely there.
Wow, I would firmly put this in meta because it just feels comfy now. It just feels like it's just easy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying that but I'm saying that base Regolo, you're not really losing out on much, which has like the SAT plus or better cooldown. That's really what you're doing the commander for, is the cooldown.
But that can save your butt though.
It does a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like one hand into meta, but like on the other hand isn't competitive. It's like barely holding on to meta.
See, especially if you can get the historical camo, which actually, I think it's the hot wind camo, which is the funny name.
I mean, if you have it, you have it. So I'm not going to hold it against anyone, but historical is arguably better.
But you get the speed, and you get, I think it's like the 3rd fastest torpedo speed or something like that. It's pretty high up there. So
it's decent speed.
It's nice, yeah. It feels good. It's not Holland, of course, but
it's definitely not EU levels.
No, definitely. But overall, I would say the tricked out Regolo, this is going on meta and actually shoves
It's
another ship
yeah.
completely right out. We'll get to that at the end.
I
But,
mean, Regolo is a very high influence ship in the game if you play it right, because the ship just has amazing DD hunting capabilities. Like, it is a menace in a match. If you're like in a 5
oh,
DD match, you are menace to any destroyer in the game.
oh yeah, and we'll eventually have to talk about the entire menace of the Regolo in the tier 10 tier maker overall. But right now we're
Oh,
just doing
but
DDs.
yes.
We're just doing DDs here, everyone. Just doing
Mm-hmm.
DDs. Let's go to Black Shimakaze. I
Black
actually really don't
Shimakaze.
have much. I don't do these boats. Sorry.
I
Do you
don't
have
play
any?
Shimakazes, but if you look at the way it plays, it is a very niche ship. It's a better Shimakaze because your guns are actually useful now. Like
Yes.
Rapid Reload 2, Shimakaze is very dangerous. So
And a quick little like PSA, Shimakaze owners, your guns exist. They exist.
well,
They're there. They
if you have
like
Black
you just
Shimakaze and you're not using your guns, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong.
pretty much.
So
Pretty
it's
much.
niche. It's not competitive. It's almost competitive if you're good at Shimakaze, but like I know like 2 people that can make Shimakaze work. So
Yeah.
it's a good ship. It's a good ship for niche. If you like a ship that has now very good guns but still has horrendous torp reload,
No.
it's still a good ship.
Oh,
So I think niche fits Black Shimakaze perfectly.
yeah. Now, I don't think we have to say anything about Daring.
This does not need an introduction. This is still the best destroyer at tier 10.
It's just so nimble and just powerful. Its guns are. You have to understand its guns in order to actually make sure they work. In my opinion, they're not as powerful as others, but they are just so solid.
It's just not only that, it's just that the guns are so easy to use and they have so many strengths going for them that like no other DD can say. This is like one of the few tier 10 DDs, I think, if not the only one that has all 360 turrets.
Yeah.
So
I'm
like it's a very strong ship in that sense.
Buff Holland when? Like, come on. Like, what? Why is that? Why? Okay, never mind.
The
We're getting
torps
a
then
little
on
early.
Daring then has, I mean, the torps are mediocre on paper, but if you know how to aim with single file torps, you can get some nasty stuff done with Daring. Daring can get some stuff done if you know how to use single file. Then you have the combo of fuel smoke, which just you can sit in smoke essentially the whole game. Forget it. On top of your dodging, you can sit in the smoke the whole game. And
Oh
then you
yeah.
have Hydro 2 to hunt DDs down with and spot for your team with torps. So it's just it does everything you'd want out of a meta destroyer.
Oh yeah.
Besides AA. Besides AA.
But then again, you can hide within your fuel smoke to kind of
Yeah, you can dodge. If
balance
you're
it
very
out.
good at dodging, you can just dodge torps like this. But bombs, you can't save yourself from.
I think Daring is legitimately the only DD that I know that Steve and just insanely good Splo,
Yeah,
Fruit Poo
you
Poops, they still have issues with. Like it's just like
yeah
when they are at that level, it's just that damn good. Just so good.
yeah. A good daring player will make a Haku player's day very miserable.
Oh, okay, now I'm gonna take this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can take this one. You can
I
take this
love
one.
it. I love this ship. This is competitive, to me at least. This is competitive because it's good guns, good speed, good torps. Just like it does a lot. It just doesn't have the smoke to get itself out of a position. That's bad. That is of course AA, but that's basically all DDs.
Yeah.
So Delny though, it's just such a fast, good torp boat. It's good. What do you think?
I originally put it in niche, but that's because Delny. It's not that Delny's bad. It's more that Delny is not the best Gumbo destroyer tier then. If you know what I mean, right?
Hmm?
Like it's not necessarily like 10 times better than it's a lot easier than some of them. Like it's a lot easier than Regolo or Kleber in terms of ease of use because you literally have the best gun arcs for destroyers in the game. It's just more the fact that the torps are like duds. If you hit anything with good, like if you hit a Vermont with torps, the torps are duds. I mean,
They're
they do
zoning
like
torps,
negative
really.
damage.
Yeah,
They're more just torps
it's
you send out for the memes. I mean, they're not really there to do actual damage.
they add up, but yeah, they're
Yeah,
definitely more zoning. They are I'll agree with that one. I just put it in competitive because it's just so easy to be a gunboat, and
it is one of the
like,
easiest gumbos to get into.
and if you learn the Delny, then you can apply it and become a better player with the other, I'd say better gunboats.
Yeah.
But like,
That's why I put it. That's why I put it in niche because like it's such a specific play style that it's like it tries to get out of niche with its amazing guns and its rapid reload 2 is nasty. It's just compared to other DDs, it's not necessarily the better gunboat. I put a lot of DDs in niche for that reason. They're just not necessarily all better than each other. They just call all they all fill a certain purpose.
Oh,
That's just the way I see it, though. I could easily,
yeah,
I could see competitive if someone is very good in Delny, but it's
yeah.
just it kind of holds that line of competitive and niche.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick it in competitive for right now. I might rethink about this, like because once again, these are not final. This is all just us talking. So please put your comments down below on where you think ships need to
Yes,
go and
please bash
everything.
us. Please, I can't wait to see 10 comments on why Delny needs fixing.
Delny and Kleber both need fixing of AA. Like,
I know.
please,
Please, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna piss off Red right here.
Whoa, where are we putting this one?
Niche, in
Ooh,
my opinion, and hear me out.
I want to
Okay,
hear the reason. I want to hear the reason. I want to hear
yeah,
the reason.
because I'm not gonna go the typical route that I would typically say, which would be boring as fuck. Because no, it is boring, but at the same time, it is exceedingly tanky, and I mean exceedingly tanky for a DD.
50k
Yeah,
HP potential if
50k
you have
HP.
everything running.
Yep, and also on top of it, you're always bow tanking, which actually I ran into a druid today that was showing broadside.
What?
I sent him back.
Excuse
I
me?
sent him back to
Oh,
port.
I need to make a Druid video. I need to make a Druid video.
Yep. No. It's the problem is that this ship is a slow burn, and if you do not have a team that works with that slow burn, you lose out on damage. If you have an enemy team that doesn't work with it, you lose because you just get pushed on and you're done. It does not have the DPM or it doesn't have the DPS to really always be in competitive.
Okay.
But I totally see this as one that plays the game. But some days it is meta and it just
Yeah.
so good. It is never a playable ship, in my opinion. It is never.
No.
It is always in like niche 2 meta. Like it's just you just have to have the right team that works with you. Do you agree?
My biggest issue with Druid isn't your team. It's more the fact that it takes like a simple Kleber or Regolo to go like on the flank of you, and then you're screwed because then you have to turn your ship, and then you're exposing yourself. That's actually the biggest concern with Druid is when you have to focus multiple targets at once because well you can't run because the ship's slow, and then well you can't kite because you have no guns in the back. So its biggest disadvantage is when you have to face multiple targets at once, and if they're very good DD hunters like the Regolo or like the Daring, well, not the Daring, but the Delny, if they chase you down, you will pretty much die if they're smart because well,
Yeah.
you need time to kill them. They need to be up in your face without islands for you to kill them.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I've done a Venezia run on it. Like, and if a Venezia can do it to you,
Yeah,
it's
Druid. It kind of plays. It's not like that. It's like Delny. It plays the competitive niche section, but it's tankiness, man. That thing does not like to die. It does not like to die. It was. I've used 6 smokes and 4 heals in a game. No one is. I rarely die in Druid unless I get rushed down by what I just explained. That's usually
yeah.
when I typically die in Druid.
That's where like I don't think it's fun, but at the same time, I understand some people find that fun. And like that, I find a more strategic play overall.
You
To be
don't know fun
enjoyable,
until
but
you don't know fun until you get to harass Minotaurs with the Druid. That's
that is
free
so true.
Citadel damage right there. Your Citadels do 0 damage essentially, but it's funny to get a sick crisis on a Minotaur or Smolensk. So
Didn't you get a Citadel Crisis on a midway today or something like that? It was like
I
it
did
was there.
actually. I've come close to Citadel crisis in battleships with this thing.
Yeah, it's a good ship. It's just one of those things that you have to have the right team, and that just makes it more niche. It is definitely a competitive or meta ship, but it you just have games where you're not going to get the damage. It's just
If you pair Druid though with good destroyer players on your team, this thing easily turns into competitive. If you have good destroyer players, because
yeah.
they can back you up in a situation where you're getting rushed by destroyers. If they can back you up, the ship's amazing.
Oh yeah, and that's why I like the niche category. It just makes sure everyone knows that hey, there's an asterisk to this being as good as it should be, or something like that.
Yes.
Let's move on to Elbing. Where did you put the Elbing?
Where did I put? I put Elbing in niche.
Yeah,
For a very specific reason. I've discussed this with Alistair before, who I think is the best. I've seen the best Elbing player I've seen play the game. It serves one purpose, and that is to harass cruisers out of existence. It serves that one purpose and that one purpose only.
And the more I play the Felix, the more I realize it is just like I want the Elbing because it's so good at kiting cruisers and harassing them slowly to death. It is so good, and those sea mines are just hilarious.
Oh,
they're almost as good. They're almost as good as St. Vincent Torps, where it's just like you run into it, you see someone run into them, you're just like,
yeah,
chuckle.
amazing. Just like a random, you see like one torp at like 11 kilometers with your torps, like some random destroyer gets hit by them. It's like, and Elbing, of course, is especially after like the recent buffs, like the one, like it got like another 1,000 HP. Like, it's a super tanky destroyer as well. Another tanky destroyer.
Oh,
Not as
yeah.
tanky as Druid because you don't have a fourth heal, but it Elbing can survive a game very long, like a cruiser could.
You do have to pace yourself very well though, because it doesn't have the
No, well,
DPM to do anything.
and not
Like,
only just that, it's the fact that it's also not not a fast destroyer. So if you get chased by like a Venezia, you're kind of screwed against a Venezia if they know what they're doing because you're gonna get chased and you're not gonna outrun a Venezia.
or even God forbid a Regolo.
If it's an Austin, GG's to you because if the Austin player is smart, it's not a fun time for Elbing.
Austin's death to it.
Unless you're a good
Gearing,
Elbing player.
Yeah. Gearing though. I
Where
think
did I put this game?
I know for me I put it in competitive. It's just a good DD. It's just
I mean,
it's
we
the
could
most
have
basic.
there could have been a trick gearing, but realistically, I'd say recommend to run gearing with leg mod because that's like the best version of gearing. I mean,
I felt like that was a comfort move. That's why I didn't put a
yeah.
tricked one.
I mean, gearing is such a basic destroyer,
Yeah.
and it's so much better than another basic destroyer. But it fills such a good purpose because it's so basic, it's so easy. It's like a destroyer on easy mode. Like you want free damage in a destroyer, there you go.
It also, I think it's just it's got good torps, good guns, good maneuverability, good skills to work at it. Except for the ADA, I think the ADA
It does have that
should be buffed.
long-lasting American smoke, though. It does have that. It is the only smoke
Yes.
2 destroyer. It's tier 10, so it does serve a very good purpose for that situation.
That is true. I think there is another ship. I think we were talking about it, and I think it's coming up. But yeah, it's just bland and basic, but it's not a master of none situation. It's
It's
just
not, but it's bland, but it's not bland in a bad way. It's not
No.
bland in a bad way.
And if you want to challenge yourself even more, get the space camo.
I love the space cannon for that thing.
But for a person of your caliber, I completely see you enjoying it because you don't deal with the.
It's such
the
a
bad
great time.
parts of it.
If anyone's playing a destroyer in this game and they want to like play a destroyer where they can turn their brain off while still getting good stuff done, just play the gearing. Just turn your brain off. You don't need to work that hard in gearing to get stuff done.
Yep. Now let's talk about the antithesis. Even though this is the most
This is
bland,
what this is
basic
where
DD as
it
well.
could have been like the gearing. It could have been like the gearing, but so much lost potential.
I put it in playable. Where did you put it?
I put it in playable. I can't rank this anything higher than a playable. Grozovoi, it's almost needs fixing. It almost needs fixing, but like it gets saved by the fact that it's such a basic destroyer that it's easy to use, but it doesn't give you much when it's easy to use.
I will say the guns are easier to use. The Gearing's guns.
Well, yeah, it has those flat Russian arcs. It's easy guns to use. The flat Russian arcs. You can't miss with them.
No, you can't. But I have one word that destroys the whole idea of why the Grozovoi, I should say, doesn't deserve to be at a higher tier. Udaloi.
Whoa, okay. Udaloi is one of the many problems because Udaloi is a beast at tier 9. If that wasn't on a tier list, that would be like meta because that thing's insane.
Oh yeah, no.
Grozovoi though
overshined.
It's just so sad the way they made Grozovoi because it had so much potential even after multiple buffs. So much potential wasted.
I really do believe it probably needs a torpedo reload of some kind, and its ADA removed because that's not doing anything.
That ADA is a waste. Unless you give a good AA, that ADA is a waste.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't give it.
It needs an agility buff. I don't know how on earth they made Delny more agile than a Grozovoi. I have no idea how they managed to do that.
Well, Delny is better in a straight line. Delny is a Kleber.
No, like, Delny still accelerates faster though.
It does. Actually, I didn't.
Accelerates faster than a Grozovoi. It's
Why?
so sad how Grozovoi. Like again, it could be with gearing. They messed it up so bad. It could have been with gearing. Could have been.